point, I think it is going to come down to the trenches when Washington is on offense. They have a really good offensive line, but we've talked about Texas's defensive line, their linebacker group. They got guys, potential first-round picks out there on the front. And I think Michael Penix Jr. is going to have to be that guy where maybe he hasn't run the football a ton this year, but you might have to make a couple plays, extend them with your legs, maybe get some of those yards on the ground in order to win that advantage there.
Is that where you would say Washington had? I mean, you know, because you think about it, of course, Penix was in New York for the Heisman ceremony.
Yeah.
Is that where you'd go, or where would you go for Washington's
The Washington advantage to me is definitely their pass game. And I'm looking squarely, as T-Bob said, this is not a good secondary for Texas. They're 94th in pass defense. This is a team that has given up a ton of yards through the air. And I understand they're playing some of those Big 12 offenses, so you can say what you want about the numbers. This is not where you want to be as a college football playoff caliber team going up against a Washington squad that has thrown the ball very well, that has protected their quarterback very well. There are going to be some guys in that secondary that are going to be hanging out there to dry. And I do want to say this about the Washington defense, too, because they've given up a ton of yards. It hasn't necessarily been great for them. I think they got better toward the end of the year when they got healthy. And they got two guys in particular that I think are game changers. Dominique Hampton, who's a safety. I think he dictates a lot of what their coverage does. I love the way that he plays. And Braylon Trice up front. Yeah. He is a pass rusher that I think is a baller. So they got a couple guys on that defense that can be problems too.
I will say this, both of the passing games are sexy. That's what we'll lead with. But one guy that has to step up for Washington is their running back, Dylan Johnson. Since November, he's had 683 yards. That's an average of 136 yards per game. Why that matters is Michael Penix off of play action, 75% completion rate, 12-0 touchdown to interception. That's a difference of 13% completion rate. So if they can run the ball, they can get into play action. All 9 of Michael Penix Jr.'s interceptions are off-base pass, so not play action. Run the ball, play action. It's tough because Texas has the 4th best run defense.
And here we kind of arrive at what I perceive to be Washington's greatest advantage, beyond like just the again, those weapons against that secondary, but it's the intangible advantage. There's that old Bruce Lee quote, right? Be like water. Like whatever the container water is poured into, it takes the shape of that container. That's this Washington football team. They've been adaptable, right, to whatever the situation. They won with defense when Penix and company didn't have it. They've won it when Penix needed to show up. They won it when Dylan Johnson needed to show up, when the DBs needed to show up. Where was Troy Franklin that second Oregon game? So, like, that's how you know they're so well coached by Kalen DeBoer. And make no mistake, Texas has the talent advantage, but I like Washington's intangible advantage. And the main reason why is Michael Penix Jr., man, because that is a cat who does not fear the stage. He thrives on the stage. He seeks it out. And throughout this year, whether it's been the big third down, the big touchdown, whatever it's been, whenever a play's been needed, he's there. I keep going back. There's a video of him in that first Oregon game before that game-winning drive where he's sitting there freestyling on the sidelines to his teammates about how they're going to go win the game. That is a man who is in the present, who is locked in, and who just knows how to win. So, like, that's why I actually like Washington to get this done, the intangible element pushing them over the top.
So